Hi everyone, this is Cosmodius, and I'm going to be doing a video today on the update. All right, so here's the deal. So essentially, in this update, they added condensation chambers and evaporation chambers, and a lot of people don't seem to understand how they work. So I figured I'd make a video real quick showing how they work, but it's not really going to be a real quick video. I think I should build it from scratch and explain the concept to everybody from scratch. Um, so we're going to go ahead and make a custom world then. And I'm just going to make sure that creative mode is on. And let's just give it a custom color because why not? Somewhere around there. Maybe down here. Yeah, that's good. Okay. So we're not going to have to build much to actually get this going. I'm going to build a 4x4 area, and that should be large enough for everything. We don't really need a large area. And I'm going to explain the entirety of this system, how it actually functions, and what goes on with it, and how easy it is to actually use. Let's start by, I'm using a mod. Uh-oh. Oh, they updated the game and got rid of the ability to use the console. That happens sometimes. And they did it this morning too, so they didn't really change anything. So that's kind of interesting. And we're going to be needing this atmosphere in our TAN tablet, the atmosphere reader. Let's get rid of all this. This won't take long anyway. Iron frames. All right, set up our power. Give ourselves some light. Give ourselves a labeler. Take our suit battery out. Give ourselves a new suit battery. Let's go ahead and get that. Get rid of the extra stuff, and then now let's go ahead and get the chambers set up, and I'm going to explain how this works. All right, so we'll have this one right here, I think. Yeah, we'll set that right there. That's perfect. And what we need here is we need 3 connectors for tanks. This one's going to be the actual coolant itself. But these two over here, they're going to be simulating the atmospheres that are different, or at least some kind of different system. That's all I'll say about it, because they have to... so we already made a mistake. Whoops, I forgot. I made them both condensation chambers. That's a mistake. Evaporation chamber, there we go. Now we go ahead and set the pipe up. And what we're going to want here, I'm gonna set it up right here. Now we set up the liquid pipe, and as you can see, despite the update, this one says gas input for some reason. I don't know why the dev didn't fix that yet, but it's no big deal. I'm not going to cry about it. I just wanted to point it out. And so we'll go ahead and put our pipe set up to these two. And then I'm going to describe what all of them do and why this works and what it does exactly. After I set up one last thing I was going to set up, we need a regulator, a pressure regulator to be precise. And then we need another pipe to finish this connection. All right, now I think we're almost done. Let me just verify everything is set up right. All right, we have these two that go into the chambers, yes. Okay, we are missing one thing. We're missing a valve. And essentially, this valve here has to go this way. We set up a radiator, and you don't have to set up the radiator I'm setting up. This is actually just, this could be any radiator you want. I'm just setting this up so that way it can somewhat represent the actual way that the system's going to be set up to some degree, because remember, this is in space. So if this is in space, this is how it's going to kind of work. All right. Cable everything up, and then we'll be good to get started. So all you people who didn't get fired from your professional HVAC jobs can rest assured of your job security. I'm joking. All right, time for the final part. What tanks will spawn? So we're going to be using pollutants for our coolant, and if you jetpack up a little bit, they'll spawn in like that. If you don't, they'll spawn in all messed up and flop all over the place. So make sure you elevate yourself when you're spawning them in. Nitrogen canister. Nitrogen canister. And so these nitrogen canisters, as you may have guessed, the air is mostly nitrogen in real life. So they are meant to simulate the air between two areas in a different system. They're also perfect for making these coolant systems because of the fact that they have a low solid freezing point. Yeah, there we go, freezing point. All right, so to explain how this works, this is a pollutant tank. It is currently really hot, but whenever the megapascals go to I think it's 3.58 megapascals, it'll be room temperature. So the temperature is high because there's liquid right now. When liquid gets created, it's heating up. And it's heating up because it's phase changing into a liquid. Meaning that so to explain it in layman's terms, liquid has to sacrifice its physical properties. No. Liquid has to sacrifice its heat to acquire physical properties that gas has. I think that's a better way to put it. So we're going to go ahead and explain how we're going to set these all up. So I'm going to tell you right now, I want this pressure regulator to be about 3.58 megapascals. So that's 3,580. Now we're going to go ahead and turn it on. And what you'll notice is it'll all turn to gas. All of it. Every single bit of it. And it goes up there quickly and it just starts turning to gas. We can see it right now. And as it's doing that, it's cooling off. When that water cyan, the water pollutant, gets a little three wavy red things, it's cooling off. I don't know why the developer made it red. He should have made it blue, but that's just because, it's cooling, not really heating. And it went to a point that I didn't want it to. I guess that's part of the update. But anyway, we check over here and we got good pressure going still. So that's kind of interesting to note. Now let's go ahead and explain this. So over here, you can see these are both room temperature. They don't have any liquid in them because they got a low freezing and they have a low condensation point, so they're not condensing either. And we don't ever open these levers. These levers will release. Interesting. I think I have to do this. No, that's stupid. Why can't I just... Anyway, let's go back here. So yeah, it looks like the update... Oh yeah, the pipes are stressed, of course. There's a tank there. I don't know why this pipe bursted first. All right, now let's get started. So this will actually cool things down. All right, the evaporation chamber, it turns liquid into gas, and when it does that, it removes heat and cools down. This will heat things up. It'll specifically heat itself up. It does that by turning the gas into liquid, which of course removes its physical properties in exchange for acquiring its temperature back. Essentially, that's what it's doing. Now, because we're using pollutant, we have to know what to set it to. I know to set this to 3,580 kilopascals, even though it somehow went above it, and I guess that's because the liquid went in there and pumped in with it. And there's ways to get rid of that, stop that from happening, but I'm not going to do that right now. We're going to come here, and we're going to look at the gases, and then we look at the pollutants. And right here at the freezing point, we can see that the temperature is negative or 99.8 Celsius, which is 173 Kelvin. So that's the freezing point. That's the point we don't want it to ever go to. 133 or 173 is dangerous here because you'll freeze, turn into a solid. So we have to keep it above that temperature. But if we make it go above 425 Kelvin, it'll turn into a gas no matter what. At 60, yeah, 6,000. It says 6,000 kilopascals. Yeah, 6,000 kilopascals. So anyway, now that we've got that set up, we know the pressure, then we know the temperature range we're dealing with. All right, above the minimum temperature of 173 Kelvin and below 450 or 25 Kelvin. What about pressure? So what we do is we take it right here. We start right here, and if we make a straight line from left to right, we would slice it at 1,800 kilopascals. So it condensates at 1,800 kilopascals, meaning it turns from liquid, or it turns from a gas to a liquid. The thing is, it depends on, it has to be at the temperature it's about to freeze for that to happen. So if it's above that temperature, it's actually got more wiggle room to work with. So that means that we want to get the condensate or condenser or whatever. We want to actually set the evaporator to be the one that's 1,800. So now we come back to our table here, and up here we have 5780. All right, so 5,780 kilopascals. And we set this over here, the condenser, right? We turn them both on at the same time. And what you'll notice is there's no liquid in this pipe at all. And then this pipe has to start filling up, So this pipe here, it doesn't have any stress at all now. Everything's now turned into a gas from a liquid. And this is just removing its pressure, filling all this up with everything it needs. As it's doing that, let's go ahead and check the containers here. As you can see, the temperature's dropping on our evaporation chamber. See, so our evaporation chamber is losing temperature, but our condensation chamber is gaining temperature. That's because it's turning into a liquid, as you can see from the blue sprinkles, which should be red in my opinion. All right, and you can see over here too, the nitrogen is going up. It's going up in temperature. All right, now we got the evaporation chamber to 276, etc. As you can tell, it's going low, but this is an insulated system. That means that eventually it'll actually stop dropping. I think I put enough gas in here, did I? Uh-oh. Wait, did I? What's going on, pressure regulator? So yeah, the pressure regulator is not really doing its job here much. But if we come here, we can see that there's not that much liquid anyway. So the temperature of the liquid's really hot. Temperature of the gas is kind of starting to get cold. And it can't go under 100, obviously. Negative 99 C or whatever, or else it explodes. But it's not really going to do that. I'm actually really disappointed right now because this is too slow. We're going to get ourselves another tank. I don't know how to use the add gas function, sorry. So I'm going to be doing this instead. Okay. Now it should be pumping more. Yep, there we go. It's filling it up now. Hey, it's actually at the actual point that we want it at. It's both heating up and cooling down. So now we got our system full as it's supposed to be. And this has to be at about a single set. You want it to be at a single set pressure in order for this to function as you would like. Like seriously, that's what you want. And we're looking at our liquids. The liquids are still going up. Temperature is still going up. Look at our gas. Our gas is still dropping in temperature. It's only gaining temperature because we're adding more to it as it leaves, and it's going back up when this pumps in. All right, but that's not really what I want to show y'all anyway. Let's go ahead and let's play with the radiator here. So as y'all can tell, you can see where these are. They have a certain point where they differentiate. That differentiation point is extremely important because here we have this thing heading toward the blue, this thing heading toward the red. We want to know the difference between the red and the blue. That way we can decide how we're going to manipulate the valve. The only thing is we have to be careful when we do that because we have to keep it on this line here. So if we don't use log scale, we can see pollutant was basically designed to be dummy easy to understand. Like you could basically make an easy formula for that and keep it within a certain range and it wouldn't be too bad. Okay. Now that we understand that, let's see what happens when we start cooling the system. All right, so you can see that the evaporator is starting to get cool, or the condensation chamber is starting to cool now. But as it's cooling, something funny is happening. The gas is actually revealing that it's doing something. the gas is actually starting to show the little sprinkles on the bottom, the little blue sprinkles, meaning it's converting into water, which means the system's actually gaining heat. And if we look at the water, you can see that it's actually, it is dropping. It is dropping for right now. Oh no, we busted a pipe again. Oh, okay, it's just that pipe. No big deal. That pipe has no room for mistakes. All right, let's stop cooling it. So the difference between these two is supposed to be about the same. And you can gradually you move this down. Oh, I gotta do something real quick. Okay, I'm back. So, anyway, now that we understand how this kind of works here, this is essentially guaranteeing that it's easier to cool the system. That's basically all it does, really. It makes this part hotter, but it also makes it liquid, so it's easier to cool. And that's just something that's known. It becomes cheaper to cool. It's supposed to be cheap. However, if we come here in Network Analyzer, it's only using 100 watts, which isn't too bad. If the developer did any kind of interesting things, I would like to know. But as of right now, it looks for the most part like this is continuing to cool. And I guess, it looks like I didn't set the parameters the same way I did before, because before I had a really stable system. It would immediately like, stop moving around. And I think that might have to actually do with how the world saves are working. I think I think the update changed the way that the world saves work, because essentially, um, if I load my other map and I remake this, it's not going to do this. It's not going to behave this exact way. And I wonder if that's what they were doing. So there we go. They're both still dropping. They're both still dropping, even though I already see this is dropping. Oh yeah, I can't believe that. I left it open. What was I thinking? There we go, and now it's immediately heating up again. And as y'all can see, this is still within a good pressure for its temperature. This is still within a good pressure for its temperature. So it has the wiggle room to essentially sacrifice its temperature without turning into a liquid immediately, while still turning into a liquid when it needs to turn into a liquid when we need it. That's the purpose here, and I know somebody can make a better tutorial to describe that relationship here, but ultimately, here's what's getting sacrificed, right? So this water it's supposed to actually be going up in temperature, not down. Oh, is it going to start going up now? Oh, there it goes. It's going up now. So this water pipe, it fills with water more and more and more. But as you can see, we don't even need that much water pipe here. You might, though, depending on what you're doing. And the only thing you need to do is literally exchange your air in your base with this and set the temperature. And to set the temperature, you look at this. And this gives you a buffer to easily open and close this as you need. You can calculate what's going to happen. You can test and run and essentially get a good idea of exactly where things are going to stop. And that'll let you keep your base cool without having to ever worry. You can set a temperature. You can say, I want it to be 20 degrees Celsius, right? And if you look here, you can see it's negative 23, which is probably not desirable for most people. But it's not, one thing it's not, at its freezing point over here, which is, of course, negative 99 degrees Celsius. And its pressure's 2 megapascals despite being 1800. Yikes. And I think that's what this evaporation crap's supposed to be for, but I don't know. And you can always do that to blow off some steam, like literally, because I mean, this is hot. This is not hot, right? So I guess that would be like an emergency thing. Let me see. No, no, I don't want to see. Never mind. Goes back up in temperature, starts going back. Y'all get the idea. Okay, so thank y'all for watching the video. That's all I have to say.